Okay, that's brilliant. So I think I'll start off, even if other people join us, they can just catch up where we are at. And anyway, the first few slides are really just a general introduction to Durham, okay? So just a quick introduction to myself. So I'm Dr. Milica Vasiljevic, and everyone calls me Mickey because it's so much easier. I'm an associate professor here in behavioral science and psychology, and I'm the program director, both the founding and the current director of the MSc in behavioral science. And recently, from last year, we also have a MARM program, which is the MA Research Methods in Behavioral Science, which slightly differs from the MSc. So I know that some of you may have applied for the MARM, and I will speak a little bit about the MARM as well. I have popped in my email address here, just in case you want to contact me afterwards and ask some questions. My colleague Jess is here as well from the Central Services, and she will also be able to answer some of the more general questions, which I might not be able to answer as we go through the slides. Okay, so what are we going to do today? So we're going to have a quick run through about why studying at Durham is a good idea. I'm then going to deep dive into overview of the program or programs, the MSc and the MARM, and give you a little mini taster of how teaching is structured in the different modules, especially the specialized modules for the program. And then I'll talk about career pathways after the MSc and the MARM in behavioral science, okay? So to start off, I'll tell you a little bit more about the Department of Psychology. So we are a world-leading university and top psychology department. We're 74th in the QS world rankings. And in total, we have about 60 to 70 master students every year. Now, that's not only in behavioral science. So we have two other MSc programs in developmental psychology and also cognitive neuroscience. So we each get about 20 to 25 students each of the programs. So 60 to 70 is the full cohort. And of course, if you come, you would be working with enthusiastic staff who are research leaders in their respective fields, okay? There are also some other rankings, which are national rankings. So we're top 10 in graduate prospects in the Times and Sunday Times. So these are UK rankings, and 13th in the Complete University Guide and 13th in the Guardian University Guide, okay? So all of our MSc programs are one-year courses. So that means that they run from October to September. So that may be a little bit different when you compare it to some other universities where sometimes MSc programs may be shorter. So you are required, especially for the dissertation, to be present on campus from October to September the following year when we have the dissertation submission. If you come to our MSc, you would be studying in a state-of-the-art teaching environment and using our world-class research facilities, okay? So you will receive also comprehensive departmental support, both an academic advisor, supervisor, and tutors, as well as college and university support. So just a little bit also about the university. As I mentioned, we're a world top 100 university. And what is distinctive about Durham is that we also have 17 colleges and where you as a part of our community would be member of. It is England's third oldest university, and it was founded in 1832. And we have students and staff coming from over 120 countries. And the Department of Psychology is also very, very diverse. We have strong industrial links and excellent employability opportunities and a very engaged career service that you can engage with from from the start of your degree. So we're located in the northeast of England. We have very good links with Newcastle, Edinburgh, Manchester, but also London. So there's a very fast train that only takes 3 hours up to London. So we offer both a world-class education and living in a magnificent city. So Durham is very safe, beautiful, and historic. It is home to a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is the world famous cathedral, and it is easily walkable in under 30 minutes. So it is actually quite compact, and it's surrounded by beautiful countryside. Okay, so, but apart from what the university is offering in terms of both the departmental facilities and expertise, and the colleges and pastoral support, there are also different opportunities which are extracurricular, which are open wide for you. So there are over 200 student societies which you can join, and I know that many of our students in the behavioral science program do join the student societies. We're also Sports University of the Year for 2023, and I think we always top the charts. We have very successful sports teams, and actually in the MSc of Behavioral Science, partially because of the topics that we're studying, we do have quite a few sportsmen and sportswomen, so people who play for Team Durham, different sports, and they're very interested in learning, for example, about motivation in sports, etc., which is quite related to some of the topics we cover. We have 85% of students involved in sports, music, theater, or volunteering, and of course there are also 86 different music societies, so we're very keen on music as well. And even if you don't want to do professional sports, there are also over 700 college sports that you can join in. So lots of things for you to do and think about. Okay, and in terms of central support, we provide access to a wide range of support services. So immigration, healthcare, GP services, finance, student well-being program, counseling, chaplaincy and faith, and of course, EDI services. Okay, so I'll stop here. So this was just a really quick whistle-stop tour about the university and Durham in general. But I thought it's a nice opportunity maybe for you to ask questions or pops. You can speak if you have any questions, and Jess might help me for some of the more general questions and central support questions, or you could just pop things in the Q&A chat if you want to, whichever you prefer. So do we have any verbal questions for now? No? So no one wants to ask anything. Just pop in things in the chat, really, and Jess will try and answer. Or you could keep those questions for the end, and we're happy to answer at the end. So if there are no questions now, I'll just carry on. Okay, so the second part of our presentation is to give you a little bit more of a flavor of what you could expect from the MSc and MARM in behavioral science. So of course, in recent years, we have seen that the importance of behavioral science has been recognized more and more. So we see that behavioral insights are increasingly sought after by both governments and non-governmental entities. And of course, quantitative and data analysis skills are increasingly sought after. In the behavioral science programs, both the MSc and the MARM, we aim to teach about cutting-edge behavioral science research, advanced training in quantitative methods, and the application of behavioral science to everyday problems faced within the public, private, and third sectors, okay? So a general overview of the program, as I mentioned briefly before, we expect about 20 to 25 students each year. And our program is really, really unique and sets itself apart from other programs on this topic. We're offering lots of practical elements and hands-on experience. Now, the teaching is structured via lectures and seminars. So you usually, for each module, you might have 2-hour weekly lectures or seminars. And then to supplement that, we have workshops where you might be working on particular problems. You have practical classes. So for example, for statistics, you might be having lectures, but then you would have practical classes to actually practice how to do specific statistical tests and analysis. And of course, you can expect one-on-one supervision and advising throughout the master's year. Okay, so the structure of the MSc Behavioral Science is like this. The successful completion of the MSc requires 180 credits in total, and that is made up of the following, okay? So you have your core modules at the top, so advanced topics in behavioral science, which runs through the autumn and the spring term, and it's worth 30 credits. And I'll tell you more about indicative topics later. And then you choose 2 out of 3 optional modules, and these are again core modules in behavioral science, so only the behavioral science students are taking them. So you choose between power and influence, behavioral insights for public policy, or diversity and inclusion in practice. So you choose 2, and that gives you 2 times 15, another 30 credits. Those modules, the optional modules, all run in the spring term, okay? Then you also have a chunk, which is in red, which is our advanced research training. And there you learn statistics for psychology and the behavioral sciences and advanced statistics for psychology and the behavioral sciences, each worth 15 credits. These are compulsory and they're taken, and again, and also critical research practice, which is 30 credits. So the statistics module runs in the autumn, the advanced statistics in spring, and the critical research practice runs through both autumn and spring, 30 credits, okay? The modules in red are advanced research training modules, which means that they are shared with the other MSc and MARM programs. So you would be sitting in a larger group with about 40 other or 50 other students from the other programs. And of course, you will be coming into smaller groups and being split into different tutorials and practicals, but the lectures would be in a larger group because that is shared with the other master's modules. And of course, then finally, you have the dissertation, which is the pinnacle of your MSc MARM process, which is worth 60 credits, okay? So the successful completion of all of this gives you 180 credits. The MARM, so the MA Research Methods in Behavioral Science, is very similar to this. And the only difference there is that actually for the statistics and the advanced statistics and the critical research practice, there are some differences in the modules that are offered and the types that you can combine, and you would be going out to learn, for example, qualitative research methods in sociology, for example, okay? So those are the minor differences, not great. There is no major differences to worry about, okay? But the main core structure remains the same, okay? So I'll just start with advanced research training, which is shared with the other programs before delving into the specialized core teaching. So this is shared across all the 3 MSc programs in the department. So we have critical research practice, where you learn about how to critically appraise research, how to design studies, and also to engage with the whole process. So I know students have lots of fun. So they have lectures, workshops, smaller group tutorials there. They critique papers, they critique different research designs, then they write, for example, proposals and pre-registrations for different studies, which are then discussed, etc. So it's a really fun module that runs over 2 terms. Then in the statistics for psychology and behavioral sciences, which runs in autumn, we start off by having kind of an overview of the main statistical techniques and analysis types that psychologists use. And this is aimed, so because of course in behavioral science, we may have students who haven't done psychology before. So it's meant as a refresher, but also to familiarize students who may not have done psychology before with the stats techniques that we use. But it also serves as a refresher, even if you're a psychologist and you have done behavioral science and psychology before, okay? And we also have, I should say, we do have mature students, so it's a good refresher part course, okay? So those are the first few weeks in the autumn term. And then as you go further in the autumn term, you start learning new techniques and then move slowly into the more advanced sections into the spring term, okay? And again, there are lectures and practical sessions and support from tutors throughout, okay? Now, the core module, which runs over 2 terms, so you would have 20 topic lectures in this and also extra workshops, is Advanced Topics in Behavioral Science. It's a compulsory module, so everyone who is doing the MSc and the MARM in Behavioral Science takes this module. And here we cover a range of specific research topic in the field of behavioral science. We start with detailing its history, emergence as a discipline. We critically address a number of topic areas which are hot topics at the moment. So just to give you a flavor of what we might be covering, these are indicative topics that we've covered in the past and that we might be covering next year. So we talk about behavior in groups and teams and changing behavior in groups and teams, marketing and consumer behavior, self-regulation, health, well-being and prosociality, risk, finance and behavioral decision-making, conspiracy theories and fake news, etc., etc. One of the optional modules in the spring term that you may take, so you have a choice of 3, is Power and Influence. This is one of the modules that has proven very popular with our students. In Power and Influence, we cover the psychology of individual and group power and the application of varied forms of social influence to a range of decision-making contexts. So here you would be learning about influence, persuasion, leadership, negotiation. I know that in the module, students do case studies, real-world case studies, etc., etc. Another module that has proven also popular is Behavioral Insights for Public Policies. So here we offer expert training in the psychology of behavior change and the application of behavioral insights to a range of public sector problems, including how to improve health, environmental, and financial outcomes. So we have very hands-on training here where we talk about policy problems that some of our lecturers have engaged with. And then you have a hands-on experience with also thinking about devising different interventions, etc., etc. And these are just some indicative topics like health, environmental, and financial outcomes. And the final optional module is Diversity and Inclusion in Practice. Here we have training in the psychology of social and cultural diversity and exploring EDI applications, organizational, community, and cultural contexts. Again, very popular. You would be learning about, for example, decision-making when you have diverse applicants and interventions of how to avoid bias, implicit bias training, etc., etc. So very interesting. And just as a kind of a quick familiarization with the modules, so you will have different types of assessments in these modules. So for example, in statistics, you might have summatives, so with different statistical tests and problems to solve, and you would have a set amount of time to solve those and submit. For the other modules, the more core modules, you might be doing essays or exams with essays, but also things like, for example, in Power and Influence, there's a Dragon's Den presentation. I know for Diversity and Inclusion in Practice, we have a blog, so you get trained in how to write a blog. For Behavioral Insights, you do a visual abstract, which is, again, something innovative that we're doing in the field, okay? And the final module, which is the pinnacle of your MSc and MARM, is the dissertation. So this is really an opportunity for students to undertake independent work under expert supervision to address a new research question in the field of behavioral science, okay? You work with a supervisor who will be guiding you into this research area and devising a really novel question, okay? You will be most likely supervised by someone in the quantitative social psychology, so that's the core of the behavioral science. Supervisors, although we have a few other supervisors scattered in the other groups, but I know that other students in the past have found it really useful, maybe thinking now throughout the summer in preparation for coming in October, to look at the website of the quantitative social psychology group and already start thinking about where your interests might be aligning with some of the staff and lecturers on the course, okay? So if you're interested, you can already start looking there, okay? Just to give you a flavor of the previous dissertation topics, so we've had projects that have looked at nepotism in organizations, evaluating marketing campaigns, testing interventions to reduce gender, ethnic bias in leadership selection, impact of conspiracy theories on behavior, increasing positive performance perceptions in athletes, how to encourage sustainable behaviors, increasing charitable giving, for example, impact of meaning making on procrastination, impact of different labeling policies on alcohol and food consumption, group polarization on social media platforms, and so on. So these are just indicative topics of dissertations that have been done in the past. So I just also wanted to show you some example publications which are arising from dissertations, and these are from just in the previous few years. So the first one, the plus one, is the impact of risk perception and belief in conspiracy theories on COVID-19 pandemic-related behaviors. Actually wasn't a dissertation, but it was something extra that the students, the first cohort in 2019-20, a few of the students on the MSc took as an initiative, and a few of us supervised as an extra. And this is published and actually really attracting citations, and it's a paper that's doing really well in +1. We have another paper, so employee reactions. I can send you the links to these papers if you wanted to see it. Andrew, one of our colleagues, supervised this with Chelsea. And then the final one is a warning label on meat meals in dining halls, actually in the dining halls in Durham. And this is with several master's students again here in the cohort, the students were supervised by myself and another colleague here, Mario Reich. Okay, so these are just to give you a flavor, but there are other dissertations which have also resulted in publications, and we can talk to you about it as well. Okay, so you would be doing something novel and original, and of course we would be aiming for a publication level quality work. Okay, so I think it might be a good idea to stop here before we go into the careers, etc., just to see if you have any questions for me. If you don't have questions, then I'll look forward to meeting you all in October.
Thank you all for attending. Thanks, Milika. Thank you so much for today.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.